This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Tuesday, which means we're doing a top 5 list, and the topic under discussion today, as you've probably seen by the title, it's all about B-sides, bonus tracks and outtakes. The kind of things that record companies put onto a reissue of an album so that the die-hard fans will go out and buy the same album that they already own all over again, or they'll put onto a compilation album previously unreleased, that kind of thing, you know. So people think, well, I own all the tracks on that compilation. Oh no, but there's some more stuff on there that I don't own, and they'll go on. But yeah, it's essentially often done as a money-making exercise, and you can have an opinion on that or not. I just often listen to some of these tracks and I think, why wasn't that on the original album, on the original release? It's easily good enough, and in some cases probably better than some of the tracks that were. So I'm talking about 5 of my favourite B-sides, bonus tracks and outtakes today, beginning with
Hideaway by Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, Stevie's version of Hideaway, that comes from, and I'll just consult my notes here, the Legacy edition of the Couldn't Stand the Weather album. I think it's just probably my favourite version of this Freddie King classic instrumental. I suppose many people got to know the tune via the Clapton version, or the John Mayall's Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, the Beano album version basically. I came to it even later than that. The Beano album was one of those albums that I knew of, but I didn't know anybody who had a copy of it. And we're talking the 80s here, and you know, music wasn't as easily available on demand. And as I say, if your only access to music is your local branch of Woolworths, then good luck finding the Beano album on the racks there. So I got to know the track via the Jeff Healey version, then eventually heard the Clapton version and the Freddie King version. But when I heard Stevie's version, it just immediately kind of shot straight to the top of my preferences. That, for me, is the definitive version of Hideaway, and I can't believe it wasn't ever included on the original release of the Couldn't Stand the Weather album. Easily good enough, and should have been. So there you go. Next.
Blues for Narada by Gary Moore.
Yeah, this one, a classic example of, you know, previously unreleased material being bundled onto a compilation album. There's a couple of tunes that Gary played that I just think absolutely personify his ferocious melodic playing style. One of them is Sunset, which doesn't come from a Gary Moore album. It comes from the Cozy Powell album Tilt. It's like a tribute to Randy Rhoads, I believe. They dedicated it to Randy. But that was, you know, it's just an achingly beautiful instrumental, and so is Blues for Narada. It comes from the Ballads and Blues 1982 to 94 album. You know, there's I think Still Got the Blues is on there. There's a live version of Parisian Walkways, and just basically it's all of his kind of more mellow, bluesy, ballady sort of stuff. And then you hear this track, Blues for Narada. It's got an element of fusion about it, and there's a beautiful string part going on there, and Gary is just absolutely on fire with this. As I said, ferocious melodicism is just the order of the day on this track. If you don't know the track, there's versions of it upon YouTube, and it'll be on Spotify or Amazon or wherever you get your music from. Go and check it out. Gary Moore, Blues for Narada. I think it is the high watermark of Gary's playing, and that is why it's on this list. Next.
Weissheim by Rainbow.
Yes, indeed, Weissheim by Rainbow. I'm told, and if there are any German speakers watching this, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm told it means White House. So there you go. Or White Home or White House, I'm not sure. It was from the Down to Earth sessions. This was recorded. I can really recommend the deluxe edition of Down to Earth, because there's loads of outtakes and alternative versions of songs. Love's No Friend, I think, there's an entire version of that with a different lyric and a different title. I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, Weissheim, it was the B-side to the All Night Long single, and it is just an absolutely gorgeous ballad instrumental. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Richie, Mr. Blackmore. More to do with his time in Deep Purple. I got the feeling that you could always tell when Richie had been outvoted or didn't get his own way with a particular song, because he would ruin it with an absolutely cacophonous, horrible, nasty sounding guitar solo. Take a listen to Knocking at Your Back Door if you want any evidence of that. You know, a brilliant song ruined by Richie's solo, I'm afraid to say. But you didn't tend to get that when he was in his Rainbow era, because, you know, he was the gaffer, he was the boss, and, you know, he always got his own way, and, you know, I just don't think his playing is any better, ever better, than on this track. It's a fairly recent discovery for me, this, because I didn't have the All Night Long single, so I wasn't aware of the B-side, and thanks to Spotify, I kind of tuned into the deluxe edition of Down to Earth, and it's on there. Absolutely gorgeous guitar track, beautiful melody, gorgeous playing. I think Richie probably is most soulful on that track, so that's why that one's on the list. Next,
Tell the Truth by Derek and the Dominos.
Yeah, as I've mentioned many times, I'm a big fan of the Derek and the Dominoes album, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs. As I've said many times, I don't think Clapton has ever played better than on that album. Possibly equalled it or got close to it on a couple of occasions, but if you only own one Eric Clapton album, it needs to be this one. And sadly, the version of Tell the Truth on that album is, compared to this, I think it comes across as being a bit plodding and a bit dirgy. This is an absolutely scorching version of the song. Different tempo, different arrangement altogether. You can find this version on the Crossroads box set, which came out in the late 80s, you know, with kind of a silvery grey cover with like an artist drawing of Clapton in his 80s kind of guise on the cover. Absolutely fantastic box set, well worth checking out, if only for this rollicking version of Tell the Truth. And you know, just brilliant stuff. It was, I believe, released as a single briefly until the band you know, kind of objected for some reason, and then I think it was recalled, or that, you know, no further copies of it were sold. And the band obviously preferred the version of it that made it onto the Layla album rather than this, which, again, I just think this is the better version. So go and check it out; you'll not regret it. Next,
Still in Love with You by Gary Moore and Phil Lynott.
Yeah, Gary's second foray into this list. I make no apologies, I am a huge Gary Moore fan. The single, his big hit single from, I think, 85, Out in the Fields, with Phil on vocals. I had the, I believe, the 12-inch single version, and it was like an EP. And on the B-side there was Military Man, which cropped up on the Run for Cover album. And this, I think, definitive version of Still in Love with You. It's just, I mean, again, this is, I already knew the live version from Live and Dangerous, and I don't think when I first heard this B-side version, I don't think I knew of the original studio recording of it, but I was certainly well acquainted with the Live and Dangerous version. And for me, this is just gorgeous. Gary's solo in this is, again, what did I say about him earlier? Melodic ferociousness, or ferocious melodicism. Again, couldn't sum it up better than this. He's absolutely just plays every note perfectly, and every note counts. And it's not one of Gary's kind of twiddly solos, by the way. There's a little bit in there, but not massively so. He just plays perfectly for the song. Beautiful, beautiful soloing. Listening to it today, this version, it is a little bit 80s dated sounding, you know, via the keyboard parts and stuff that are on there, but it's a product of its time, and I think it stands up, you know, particularly well for you know, stuff. It doesn't sound as dated as a lot of stuff that came out around that mid-80s period, and I just, of all of the different versions of this song, I would have to say this one is my favourite. I'm going to link to all of the songs in the description, either YouTube links or Spotify links. I'll just see what I can find and put these tracks down there, so go and check them out yourself, and definitely this is one that's worthwhile looking at. So or listening to even. So there you go, folks. Those are my top 5 B-sides, bonus tracks and outtakes. Let me know what yours are down in the description. I always enjoy seeing and you know, checking out your take on these subjects, and let me know if there's any of my choices that you disagree with for whatever reason. And that is very much the video for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed what you've seen and found it entertaining in some small way, and if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and why not give me a like while you're at it. Don't forget, as always, the live stream every Friday 5 p.m. UK time. You know what happens, we have a beer or several and talk about music and guitars. Great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.